Hi guys, I'm James, and I wanted to put this resource together for you to help you understand what ketones and ketosis is, and really to get an idea of the opportunity that we've got here to share such an innovative and groundbreaking product. So hopefully this little presentation will help you understand a little bit more about it. So let's just get this up here. Cool. So as I start every single seminar that we've been doing all around the country the last few years, I always ask everybody if they've been in ketosis before, and nobody puts their hand up unless they've been drinking ketones. What a lot of people don't realize is that ketosis is actually what we're born into. Babies are super efficient at creating ketones, and the way they do that, fatty acids from mama's breast milk basically are broken down by the liver into ketones. The main one on this energy pathway, which causes all of these benefits, is beta hydroxybutyrate, or BHB. Don't worry, you're never going to have to remember any of this stuff. You'll always have this as a resource to either watch yourself or to share with anyone who you want to bring to this conversation. So fatty acids broken down by the liver into ketone bodies. Main one, BHB. It supports fat loss because it gives you great energy, great focus, a lot of clarity and appetite suppression, and it reduces those cravings. And the reason why you're getting all of those benefits is because ketones are the brain's preferred source of energy. Unlike sugar, it doesn't require insulin to get into the brain and into the tissues. So it's much cleaner, it's much more stable. It doesn't have highs and lows like sugar does. So it's the energy pathway that the human being is born into. A lot of people try and get back into that energy pathway by the most Googled diet on the face of the earth right now, which is the ketogenic diet. But that's the energy pathway that you're actually born into until we consume sugar. Sugar in the form of fruit, bread, pasta, rice, whatever it is as a baby. As soon as we start eating carbohydrates, the energy pathway of ketogenesis is actually shut down. It is not possible to produce our own ketones. Ketone generation, ketogenesis completely shuts down, and it's not possible, and we lose all of those amazing benefits. So that is now in a pathway. You're in glucolysis, where fatty acids broken down by the liver, and you're living off sugar. It's 10 times more addictive than illicit drugs. It requires insulin to be transported around the body as well and into the cells. And the more and more we go through life, the more carbohydrates that we eat, the more sugar that we eat, especially, it causes those blood sugar spikes. And alongside that, we start using insulin, and we use it more and more and more. It's 10 times more addictive than illicit drugs, as I say. So we utilize it more and more and more, and that hormone, insulin, becomes desensitized. And that can lead to a lot of, if you look at extreme examples of that, type 2 diabetes, and the lesser extent of that, people will have struggles with fat loss. They'll have lots of cravings because they're constantly needing to have their energy picked up because the blood sugar level has crashed. Could lead to a lot of inflammation, a lot of acidity in the muscles, and potentially, if you're not providing the brain with the right type of energy, because just like the muscle tissues, the brain also builds up a resistance to insulin as well. It can lead to some anxiety, some poor mood, a lack of motivation and creativity and wisdom and inspiration. So it's generally a super efficient energy system. It's great for putting glucose in to go and do a sport, but that's not so much for the rest of the rest of your day activities and for the brain. So if you want to get back into that energy pathway that we're born into, ketogenesis, then you can go do the ketogenic diet. That's exactly what nutritional ketosis looks like. 75% of your macronutrients that you take in need to be fat, about 20% are protein. You can modify that very, very slightly, but that's roughly what you need to stick to. 5% or less of your entire intake is going to be carbohydrates. That is a very, very challenging diet to do with current culture, society. A lot of people enjoy carbohydrates, and completely restricting them for the rest of your life may not be something that you want to do. Now, even if you do go and do a very, very strict ketogenic diet, you're going to have to rebalance glucagon insulin levels. The more and more we've eaten sugar and carbohydrates through our life, the more insulin is actually needed because it's been destabilized. The glucagon is actually a hormone that you need to create ketones, and those antagonistic hormones have become unbalanced. So it's actually far more of a challenge to get into a state of ketosis or ketogenesis through nutrition. A lot of people think that you can get into ketosis by doing the right diet for about 6 or 7 days. it is far, far more challenging. That imbalance of those hormones typically hits most people around the age of 25 and upwards, and makes it very, very tough to hack back into that state of ketosis. And that is what Dr. Dom D'Agostino pretty much knew, right? Alongside NASA, the Navy SEALs, the deep sea divers, the astronauts, they were going through very, very extreme training conditions, oxygen restriction, all sorts of things to really, really push the human body. And they were having a lot of epileptic seizures and fits. So what they did with the US government, huge grant to research this and basically give the same ketone molecule to these people to harness that same beta hydroxybutyrate or BHB molecule, but without having to do the crazy, very, very restricted diet. And that is exactly what they did. So the reason why, Keto NAT, which it's now called, which is a completely naturally plant-based version of the same ketone we create, is the fastest growing bionutrition supplement of all time, is because it's truly groundbreaking. As I said before, you'd have to do a really, really strict ketogenic diet to get back into that energy pathway, and you would never be able to touch sugar or carbohydrates. For the first time ever, the same ketone molecule that we produce is now in one of those servings. It is a bio-identical ketone to the same one the human body produces. Remember, it's the same one that we're born into, or the one that we do several months on the diet to create. The truly special thing about this is when we drink Keto NAT, because it is a bio-identical match to the same one the human body makes, it's metabolized into an energy source. And remember, it is 30% more effective than glucose per molecule. So it's incredibly effective. Just so that you know, the difference between Pruvit products and all the other products out there may be products out there which support ketogenesis, like MCTs, medium chain triglycerides, which are between 6, 8, and 10 carbons, which are very effective to be broken down to be used as ketones. But that's if you're in ketogenesis from several months on the diet. That doesn't get you into ketosis like this product does. This product, when you drink it, is a bio-identical match. There are two isomers to the ketone body the human body produces. There's the right-handed isomer, which is the exact same ketone that the human body creates. And then there's what's known as the left-handed version, which is like a racemic blend of it. And whilst it's incredibly similar in structure, it's still a reflection. Same way as if you look into a mirror and the writing on your clothing, for example, is backwards. Same structure, but the body and the brain doesn't quite recognize it as the same thing. It's the same thing with all the other products out there, that they might say they've got BHB and they might have 2 times more, 2 times the amount of the serving per sachet. That doesn't matter. If it's not bioavailable, if the body doesn't recognize it as its own, it just becomes very, very expensive urine and it just gets flushed out of the body. Pruvit have the only naturally fermented bio-identical ketones to the human body. So it's metabolized into a seriously powerful energy source, and it's also a dual metabolite. It gets metabolized into a powerful cell signaling molecule. So truly groundbreaking. And the final thing I wanted to share with you is that a lot of people are still confused by drinking exogenous ketones and having carbohydrates in the diet. You would normally, before exogenous ketones were invented, and this particular one, you would have to choose either a ketogenic diet or take carbs. You wouldn't be able to run both energy systems at the same time. Being on exogenous ketones and eating carbohydrates, it actually optimizes both energy sources. Think of a hybrid car. You've got petrol cars that run on petrol, and you've got electric cars which run purely on electric. When it comes to a hybrid car, it takes both energies, okay, both fuel sources, and it allows them to work different parts of the car, different functions of the car. It's the same thing. When we drink exogenous ketones, our brain absolutely adores that energy source. And when we've got carbohydrates present, then we can utilize that to fuel more high intensity activities like, working out, playing sport, that kind of thing. Drinking ketones will actually optimize the use of glucose as well. So it's a truly, truly groundbreaking product, as I keep on saying. In terms of the people that we've got involved with this product, you've got Professor Jeff Volek, ex-chairman of the board, Ken Ford, ex-chairman of the board of NASA, Ken Ford. You've got world-renowned naturopathic doctors like Dr. Andy Campitelli, the guys that wrote the Ketogenic Bible, Dr. Jacob Wilson and Ryan Lowry, and the list goes on and on and on. You wouldn't have people that are putting 10, 20, 30, 40 years of reputation as leading these fields. They wouldn't be getting involved with Pruvit if it wasn't a massively impactful product that was absolutely bulletproof and flawless. So lots of other benefits when it comes to drinking exogenous ketones. It's a great support mechanism for intermittent fasting, which is great for cellular detoxification, called autophagy, when your healthy cells purge all of the dead cells and help the body repair. Great for synaptic pruning, which is a process where your brain essentially detoxifies itself when it goes to sleep and helps you wake up feeling refreshed because it balances different hormones in the brain. Great for, we've also got DNA repair on it. As we get older, the telomeres actually break off and become shorter. Ketone NAT has an ingredient, CMED 100, which is the only ingredient which is so far proven on human trials to repair DNA strands. So again, just another amazing attribute to this product. Great for muscle preservation. And as I said, it's 30% more effective than glucose and energy source. People do come to ketones because they hear about the fat loss, which is a byproduct of making better decisions, being more active, being more positive, but they end up staying on it because what it does for the brain and how it makes people feel so inspired and so alive. And really, it is a product that every single man, woman, and child can be on. So hopefully that really helps, and look forward to hearing your experience of what you feel being in ketosis is like. Enjoy.